Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Rex. Good morning, Wednesday morning. Look at that. Oh, completely different air mass. You can feel it. Much drier air, colder air. Came in from due south overnight last night. Why can I not see the sun on the buildings of Boston? The sun's been up for at least 10 minutes. Backside of that cloud. That cloud, which is still bringing rain to northern Maine. We're in Bangor. The first 18 days of this October 2022 are the wettest first 18 days of October since 2005. Thank you, Caribou, for that intel. It's the second time this upper level low has delivered inches of rain to parts of New England. I wasn't really aware of how serious those thunderstorms were with that flooding in Lawrence from Monday night until I watched the news yesterday. So it does pay to watch the news once in a while. Isn't that right, T-Rex? Well, the big news today is how cold it is over the deep south, with the low temperatures this morning all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico in the 30s. Dozens of record low temperatures. One looks like all-time October record low, Whitman Air Force Base in Missouri. Central Missouri, it was still falling from 19.6 degrees around 7 a.m. where the sun is not up for another hour. So with that radiational cooling, 72 years of record keeping. The old record, I think, was 21 or so in 1993. Anyhow, how does that happen? How does it get so much colder in the Gulf of Mexico? We've talked about this endlessly. High amplitude flow, very cold, anomalous storm systems set up at all levels of the atmosphere over the Great Lakes, where there was skiing yesterday in, I don't remember the resort, but yes, the first powder turns of the year in the east. Does Michigan count as the east? I think so. Yesterday. That low has been sitting there now for 7 days. GFS was on that first. So we've had two major weather systems, the ghost of Ian and that upper level low, dominating almost the entire month of October so far. So now what's going to happen, we're actually going to see this upper level low lift out a little bit and get into some what's called zonal flow. And instead of the air going from north to south, now it's going to go from west to east. That's kind of what you expect more often. And that zonal flow with the upper level low just lifting out of here. The coldest air aloft is coming through. So the 60s in northern Maine, some of the warmest air on the entire East Coast, north of Florida this morning with that air from the south. But there's a cold front coming at you in northern Maine from the south on top of Mount Washington with the wind from the south. The temperatures went from the upper 30s with dew points in the upper 30s late yesterday to a temperature in the 20s this morning and the dew point near zero. That with air from the south. That's just fascinating. Weather is always fascinating. The coldest air aloft comes through, but it's so dry aloft, we're not going to get any snow in our mountains. So what's going to happen next? Several nice days, I think, here in southern New England. Temperatures are mostly in the 50s. Heat came back on, the furnace came back on this morning at my house. And I'm not sure if we're going to have a frost here. You can see that I have not had one yet. And I know I'm pushing time here. Love that the rose is right in front of the thermometer. We're at 38.5 degrees, so this is colder than last week by a half a degree, and it's going to get close to frost levels here. I know that the growing season's pretty much over. I'm just holding on. The worm farm's doing great. More on that later. I have so much I want to talk about. So what about that hybrid low pressure system we're talking about coming from Florida to New England? Well, the GFS had none of it until yesterday. So now the GFS has joined the Euro, which had delays coming out yesterday, but I did find it on pivotalweather.com. Most of my data comes from Pivotal Weather or Tropical Tidbits or weather.us and the National Weather Service, in case you were wondering. Anyhow, there it is coming up from the south and into New England. Sunday clouds are increasing, so it doesn't look that great on Sunday, and it's almost like a little cool nor'easter here. Will it have sort of a subtropical status? It is possible. Will it deliver more inches of rain here Monday again? It's possible. It's going to be close. Both the GFS and the Euro are now over an inch in the Boston area for that precipitation into Monday. And that thing may try and linger here. That's when the pattern's really going to change in the northwest. Finally, snow coming in. So let's look at the snowfall graphic. Once again, the snow missing New England, which is good. We don't want snow this time of year. It's really not a good sign for the winter. look at that. Storms northwest, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and then lifting across central Canada. That storm track brings us warmer weather usually, but when you have what, Bastardi taught me a long time ago, trough splitting, a little bit of this upper level low is left down near Florida, and that storm that comes in here for Monday and Tuesday may try and stick around and wait for the next front to come in. And from the fantasy land way out, I've been talking about some possible shenanigans around Halloween, and the GFS now gets out that far, and it just shows a hurricane with anomalous cold. Hurricane way out to sea, anomalous cold over New England. So we'll start watching that and guessing about that. Treated to a lot of things yesterday. You all probably realized that right there in that house, well, it's not that house, but this property is where Don Kent lived. And talk about out the door weather and more. 65 years ago, he was going out the door weather and more with a film camera, and it took weeks to develop instead of minutes and hours. And so here's some weather and more from 1956 from right here on this property. Thank you, Doug, for sharing yesterday.
Okay.
And I can't go much further until I do some splicing and repairs, because I don't have
Let me see the 50s.
Blue Angels, Newburyport, Hogback Mountain, Nauset Beach, ice boating. I don't know if that's Blue Hill or not, but it's somewhere.
Where's that?
Logan Airport.
In Boston.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. Yeah. So your dad was just there looking at the other meteorologist, probably work for the weather service.
Care anymore. But
You like the show.
That guy just imitating your dad, you think?
I'm not sure what he's pointing at.
You might know
We
him.
might see in a minute. I don't remember.
Hogback ski area.
In the old days,
Look at those cars.
they did the trees are taller. Now, yeah, the cars.
Oh my God.
Oh, yoke.
No way.
Anybody you know? Look at those fishing rods. They're huge.
56.
I want to wear my pants like that when I get older.
I got them on.
Well,
Well,
they're probably not quite that high. Popular ones nowadays are the DN class. DN
Ice
is
boating.
Detroit News. Typical device in the background.
We're looking at a snowstorm from the 50s, before I was born. We're looking at Don Kent, out the door, weather and more. I gotta admit, it wasn't my idea.
oh my God.
Circa 1957. Studebaker. Blowing and drifting. No school, Foster Gloucester. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong state. No school, all schools.
Look at the old signs.
Cape Cod Canal.
And big snowdrifts.
R.I.P. Your dad's all over the place.
That's all they did. Drive
We're on
around
Cape
taking-
Cod now. Look at the size of those
Taking
snowbanks. Oh my goodness. It's bigger than the
That's
Edsel.
what, that's what I remember, is big snowbanks. Oh, look at this. Up north now.
How deep is it? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We're going to need a bigger stick.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
12 feet.
You know you can't buy these movies.
So they used
Yes, it would.
Weather and
always
more
looking
at the
at the
bird feeder.
That's what I mean.
So I guess I wasn't the first one to come up with this idea. The original Snowcast brought to you by the Kent family. The... It's gorgeous.
I need to somehow get that on any of the new stuff. And more.
More weather and more.
But
John Kent home movies.
you see these home and otherwise.
Yeah.
So for
Read the label on that
example,
for-
yeah, 1967, early 60s. Now there's all kinds of stuff. He would take film of everything like you do. And
It's much easier for me.
then in September, he would more or less hibernate in his spare time and edit all of this film from the year he took anything.
1956. Record. NH Sugaring.
New Hampshire.
Spring Flowers. Radar Tower.
This is all Kodak film.
Kodak
Everywhere.
film.
I mean, here are some of the little ones. You know, here's what we should do.
Sanibel. Florida?
This is a vacation.
Oh, cool.
See, all the family stuff did not end up in public's world. But
Anyhow, what is this machine?
this is a Bell and Howell 1950s era Filmo sound
Oh, I remember they were bringing
302. The old days. Now this is local.
That was yesterday-
Thank you, Jerry, for the color
yesterday
commentary.
morning.
This might be Route 3A.
Here's me right there. And what's her name?
It's an old. This is Route 3A. This is where the U-Haul is. It used to be a Stop and Shop.
Oh, right there in Weymouth.
So, I
Excuse me,
mean,
guys. Hey, cut it. Time
Wow.
out. These are.
now those were real
There's
snowstorms.
money there.
Building. It was a Stop and Shop.
Oh, neat.
Oh, and like, there's the old church, St. Jerome's.
Right, so that's right up the end of next street.
This is 105 Regatta Road. Oh, look at how small the trees are. What trees?
1956, Regatta Road, snowstorm, weather and more.
Now we're driving
Dawn Kent.
probably to work.
Being surfed up by Doug Kent in October of 2022.
Still ocean. Great Hill. Town Hall.
Let's go to the state capitol and watch it snow.
So during a storm, he'd go out driving around, and they're all saying, "Oh, stay
And where's the
home."
plows?
Yeah,
Oh,
right,
don't-
stay
do they
home.
have plows?
What's going on?
Oh, God.
Neat. And
So
he's-
he would drive around with the camera cocked in his right hand on his right shoulder,
Hey,
motionless. and
Jordan
just
Marsh.
drive. The old Jordan Marsh.
hey, excuse me.
Radar tower in the water.
Seeing.
Thank you.
Okay, now we've got a catamaran.
Built by Pearson Yachts, Bristol, Rhode Island,
Oh, my God.
and he was promoting these. Now, back in those days, catamarans were like newfangled, and like all the traditionalists with mono-hull boats, they were just like, what the hell's this?
Hey, what
It's
the hell
moving
is that?
nice.
Now, this is out in front of
Oh,
your
beautiful.
house. You're going to be able to see.
We're on the Fore River here, huh?
It's Fall
The hill.
River and
It's in the hill.
out in front of Boston Harbor Marina. But
Yeah.
no, there's the back side of House Neck. The Boston Harbor Marina.
So your dad's at the helm here.
There's no Prudential Center yet.
There's,
There was just the John Hancock Tower.
so Don Kent was a test catamaran
He
Captain.
was a promoter.
or promoter.
Coming into the dock under sail.
Right from the deal. Can you imagine? This is where it began.
All right, so there's the Boston skyline.
Moving.
What's that boat?
Yeah.
They're fast boats. So that's South Boston right there. Was. It's moving along. No school, all schools all day.
We're going sailing.
Yeah.
I like that outfit. Hey, Don.
Didn't look that bad either, did he?
Right. Well, anyway, that's it for today, folks.
Okay, well, have fun putting that tape back on the reel.
Yeah. Yikes.